longer introduction speech prepared, but I think we should hand over to our Prime Minister, Gillard.
Thank you very much for such a warm welcome. Can I start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, and in a spirit of reconciliation paying my respects to elders past and present. Can I acknowledge Nadine and your President Michael? I'm a little bit worried about the age of CPSU members. They seem to be quite young, don't they? I didn't realise we were employing public servants at quite that age, and I'm sure they're doing a wonderful job helping advise on our school improvement plan. Some great insights to bear on all of that. I'm sorry I'm late. Parliamentary days are a bit like that, but I definitely wanted to come along and say to you that as a government, as Prime Minister, we continue to enjoy the relationship with you and your great union. We continue to want to see the best from our public servants. We continue the public advocacy and dialogue about the importance of public service to our nation. And we are very determined to be there in the fight against Tony Abbott and his cutbacks for public servants. Right across the agenda as we move towards the campaign in September, there are such stark differences between the political parties, but no difference as stark as our attitude to public servants and the public service. We have wanted to have a relationship of respect. We have wanted to recognise your skills and also change your bargaining arrangements to work with you, to recognise the public service as a professional whole that people can move through and be respected as they do so. On the other side of politics, we see the most Neanderthal job cutbacks agenda. Remember, when John Howard came to office, he said that he would cut 2,000 public servants, and he ended up cutting 30,000 public servants. Well, what are we to make of a leader of the opposition who says that he wants to cut 20,000 public servants, and who has cited with approval the work of the extreme right-wing think tank, the IPA, that has talked about cutting 23,000 public servants, as well as doing some extraordinary things like privatising the ABC and SBS, you know, the sort of Neanderthal right-wing economics, Tea Party economics brought to this country by Tony Abbott. So we've got a lot of work to do, and we are intending to do it with you. We know you are out there on the front line in our departments every day, doing the policy work, coming up with the good ideas, intersecting with the public, making meaningful that ethos and that vocation of public service. And you will never hear from me a disrespectful word about what you do. I am very admiring of it. And I'm very admiring too of the work and contribution of this union, of the way that it has brought people together, the way that it reaches into workplaces, the way it is at the forefront of so many of the agendas and debates in our country. Nadine and the team do a remarkable job, and I'd really like to thank her for all of that hard work. There's a lot of white noise in politics today, but there are a few things underneath that are the real substance, and it's the real substance that I want to transmit through you to the Australian people and to your greater membership as we move towards the election campaign. We're a Labor government and proud to be one. We acknowledge our Labor history as well as our Labor future, which means that we will always be proud to say that we came from the trade union movement and we work in partnership with trade unions today. I've always been very determined to pursue the great historic mission that we have shared, a mission of creating opportunity in Australian society through jobs and economic prosperity, through distributing opportunity so that people in whatever circumstance of their birth can enjoy the wealth of our nation and have a fair share in it. We couldn't do that. We couldn't distribute opportunity without the work of the public service. We simply couldn't get it done. You are the people who are out there helping us bring the great policies and plans that distribute opportunity. So whether it's the policy work to improve school education for every child and give every child a chance, whether it's the work we're doing to build the National Disability Insurance Scheme, Disability Care, whether it's the work we've done together to rebuild Australia's healthcare system after Tony Abbott's cutbacks, making sure that through our work we're bringing better healthcare to Australians around the nation. Whatever area of life you look towards, there we are, shaping Australia's future and making sure that we do it fairly and inclusively for every Australian. That's our great mission. It's a mission we share. It's a mission that would have brought many of you into public service in the first place. And it's a mission we are going to fight for in September on election day. And I am very confident that when the choice narrows down to a government with a clear plan for the nation's future and a clear plan to support families today, and the rancid negativity we have seen from the opposition, their cutbacks, their planned attacks on working conditions, workers' rights, their planned attacks on healthcare and education, that the Australian electorate will make the right choice. We'll be there with you, fighting side by side. In many ways, I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely the fight of our lives, but that's what gets your adrenaline going and your heart pumping. So I'll see you in that fight, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. Thank you very much.